What if the most broken heart in the room was the one destined to heal another? Ethan Miller, just 16, rolled his wheelchair across the cracked pavement of an old animal shelter. His hands gripped the cold steel rims, legs forever stilled since the accident that shattered his life. Volunteers glanced up, pity flickering in their eyes, certain he'd leave empty-handed like everyone before him. His mother, Karen, walked behind protectively, whispering he didn't need to stay if it hurt too much. But Ethan shook his head. He wasn't here by chance. Something pulled him forward. Inside those walls lived a pain he recognized, a loneliness that mirrored his own. And though nobody expected it, this visit would change not just his life, but the fate of one forgotten soul behind iron bars. The shelter smelled of bleach, rust, and despair. Dogs barked desperately, paws slamming against cages as Ethan rolled slowly down the aisle. But one kennel at the farthest corner was eerily quiet. Inside lay Rex, a once proud German shepherd whose sable coat was dulled, ribs faint beneath patchy fur. Scars slashed across his muzzle, his right ear nicked, eyes dark with mistrust. He didn't move, didn't beg like the others. He only watched, measured, waiting for cruelty he had long learned to expect. Volunteers whispered Rex was too far gone, too broken for adoption. Some even feared his days were numbered. Yet when Ethan's chair creaked to a stop before the kennel, Rex slowly lifted his head. Their eyes locked. For the first time in months, a flicker of life sparked in both souls. A silent hook gripped the room. Two broken beings seeing themselves in each other.
Jessica Reed, a shelter volunteer, gasped and stepped forward. "Careful," she warned, voice low but urgent. "That dog doesn't like strangers." Rex's body stiffened, muscles coiled as if bracing for blows. Ethan's hand trembled on the wheel, but instead of fear, he leaned closer. "It's okay," he whispered. Karen tightened her grip on his shoulder, torn between pulling him back and letting him reach out. Everyone held their breath. The shelter staff knew Rex as the dog who bared his teeth at kindness, who recoiled from human touch. Yet Ethan didn't see danger. He saw reflection. With trembling fingers, he extended his hand toward the cold wire mesh. And just when Karen was about to pull him away, Rex moved. Slowly, deliberately, the scarred shepherd pressed his scarred nose against Ethan's hand. A gasp rippled through the volunteers. No one had ever seen Rex choose anyone. The room went silent, as if even the barking dogs sensed the fragile miracle unfolding. Ethan's breath hitched. He felt the warmth of Rex's breath, the coarse fur brushing against his trembling hand. His throat tightened, but he didn't pull away. Slowly, he stroked Rex's scarred muzzle through the mesh. Rex flinched at first, instinct screaming to retreat, but then he sighed, a deep, shaky sound, almost like relief. For the first time in his life, Ethan felt he wasn't the one being pitied. Here was a soul as battered as his own, offering trust where none was owed. Karen's ears brimmed as she whispered, "He's never done this." Jessica clasped her mouth, stunned. And in that moment, the invisible wall Rex had built for survival crumbled. His tail, once limp with defeat, wagged once, uncertainly, then again, with fragile hope. The impossible was happening.
Mark Thompson, the shelter manager, stepped forward quietly, his expression troubled even amid the miracle. "Ethan," he said softly, "you don't know what this means. Rex, he was on the list." Karen froze. "What list?" Mark hesitated, then admitted, "We couldn't find him a home. Next week, he was scheduled to be put down." Gasps echoed. Ethan's heart stopped. The very dog who had just pressed his scarred face into his palm, the one who finally saw him, not his wheelchair, had only days left to live. Tears burned his eyes. "No," Ethan whispered fiercely, gripping the wire. "Not him." And with that, the story's stakes transformed. This wasn't just a connection, it was a race against time. Re-hook. Would a broken boy be enough to save a broken dog before the clock ran out? Rex pressed his forehead harder into Ethan's palm, as though begging not to be left behind. The boy bent forward until his tears dampened the German Shepherd's scarred fur through the wire. Karen tried to steady her son, but Ethan whispered, "Mom, he needs me." Rex's tail wagged again, timid but real, echoing that silent plea. Jessica's voice cracked. "In all these months, Rex never let anyone near. You're the first." Mark shook his head, disbelief etched on his face. The boy in the chair and the dog everyone had given up on. How could they find each other so perfectly, at the edge of both their worlds? This wasn't just chance. Ethan gripped the wire tighter. "Then we can't waste another second," he whispered, his voice breaking with a conviction that made Karen's tears fall freely. Rehook. Could love rewrite fate itself? Mark hesitated but finally nodded to Jessica. "Open the kennel," he ordered cautiously. Gasps echoed. No one had dared step inside Rex's cage before. Jessica's hands shook as she unlocked the latch. The heavy door creaked. For a heartbeat, Rex froze, every muscle tense, ears flicked back. Ethan extended both arms from his wheelchair, voice trembling but steady. "It's okay, buddy. I'm not here to hurt you." Karen gripped the handles of the chair, bracing herself. Then, like a dam breaking, Rex stepped out. Slowly, one paw after another, until his massive frame stood before Ethan. The boy reached up, and Rex lowered his scarred head directly into Ethan's lap. The shelter fell into stunned silence. The most dangerous dog had chosen the most fragile boy. Tears streamed as hope, once written off as impossible, unfolded right before their eyes. Ethan's fingers sank into Rex's coarse, matted fur. At first, the dog flinched, conditioned to recoil from touch. But then, with a trembling sigh, he leaned closer. Ethan stroked gently, whispering, "You're safe now." Volunteers looked on with tears in their eyes, some clutching each other's arms. Jessica whispered, "It's like he's healing him." Karen knelt beside her son, overwhelmed, her hand resting on his shoulder as Rex nuzzled deeper into the boy's lap. Ethan's chest ached with something he hadn't felt in months, belonging. Rex's once dead tail now thumped against the floor in steady beats, each one like a heartbeat pulling him back to life. The shelter wasn't a place of endings anymore. It had become a place of rebirth. Together, they rewrote the story of pain into one of fragile, undeniable love. Rehook. Could this bond survive outside these walls?
Mark finally spoke, voice low, almost reverent. "Ethan, if you want, we can start the adoption process." The boy froze, overwhelmed by the weight of the offer. Adoption wasn't just a choice, it was salvation. He looked down at Rex, who gazed back with brown eyes full of questions Ethan already understood. "Will you stay? Will you choose me?" Karen's tears spilled freely now. "Sweetheart, are you sure?" Ethan swallowed hard, his voice shaking. "Yes," he whispered, "more than anything." The moment the words left his lips, Rex's ears perked and his tail swept the floor in a joyous arc. For the first time in months, Ethan's broken world cracked open with light. The boy and the dog had chosen each other. Hook paid off. This wasn't just a visit, it was destiny.
Jessica quickly fetched a sturdy harness designed for wheelchair-friendly walking. Karen's trembling hands buckled it around Rex's chest as the German Shepherd stood calmly by Ethan's side, as if he had always belonged there. Ethan stroked Rex's scarred face, whispering, "Let's go home." Together, they rolled toward the shelter's exit. The other dogs, usually deafening with barks, grew strangely quiet, as though they knew something extraordinary was happening. Volunteers wiped their tears, whispering prayers under their breath. Mark stood by the door, watching them leave, shaking his head in wonder. This wasn't just a rescue. It was 2 lives saved in one miracle. And as the cold sunlight hit Ethan's face and Rex pressed closer to his side, the boy realized the truth. He hadn't just found a dog. He had found hope.
The cracked asphalt outside the shelter had never looked so different. Ethan's wheelchair rolled forward, Rex's harness gently pulling at his side. For months, Ethan had dreaded every sunrise, each one reminding him of what the accident stole. But today, sunlight felt warm, alive, like a new beginning. Karen followed close, her tears silent, but her smile trembling through them. Ethan leaned toward Rex, whispering, "I'll never let you be alone again." Rex pressed closer, ears flicking back as though he understood. Volunteers gathered at the doorway, wiping their eyes, whispering, "That boy just saved that dog." But deep inside, Ethan knew it wasn't just him saving Rex. The shepherd had already saved him. Would the outside world, full of doubts and dangers, accept this fragile miracle, or would it try to break what they had just found? Karen carefully guided Ethan and Rex into the car. Rex hesitated, pacing nervously near the open door. Months of cages had taught him that confined spaces brought pain. Ethan stretched out his hand. "It's okay, buddy. I'm here." Slowly, Rex climbed in, settling beside the wheelchair chair with a low sigh. During the drive, Ethan kept his hand on Rex's fur, grounding them both. Karen glanced in the rearview mirror, her chest tightening at the sight. Her son, who hadn't smiled in months, was smiling again. For Ethan, the road home didn't feel like returning to the life he lost. It felt like starting one he never thought possible. Yet, as headlights streaked across the windows, a question lingered. Could Rex handle the world outside the shelter, or would his broken past return to haunt them both? Another silent test loomed ahead.
When they arrived, Rex froze at the front door, ears pinned back, tail stiff. The smell of home was foreign to him. For so long, his world had been cold chains and harsh voices. Now, before him was warmth he didn't know if he could trust. Ethan reached down from his chair, patting his lap. "Come on, Rex, this is our place." The shepherd stepped inside hesitantly, every muscle taut. His eyes darted around the room, searching for danger. Then Karen set down a soft blanket near the fireplace, sprinkling treats across it. Rex sniffed cautiously before lying down. For the first time in years, he wasn't on concrete. Ethan wheeled closer, whispering, "You're home." Tears stung his eyes as Rex finally rested his head on the blanket. Rehook. Would the nightmares still follow, even inside a safe house? That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. He wheeled quietly to the living room, where Rex lay curled, trembling in his dreams. Whimpers broke the silence, paws twitching as if he was reliving old torment. Ethan reached out, gently brushing his fingers over the shepherd's fur. "It's okay, buddy. Nobody's gonna hurt you again." Slowly, Rex's trembling eased, his breathing steadied. Then, with a soft sigh, he shifted and laid his scarred muzzle across Ethan's lap. The boy froze, overwhelmed. The once violent dog had chosen him as his comfort. Ethan stroked his ears until both drifted into an exhausted, peaceful slumber under the dim glow of the fireplace. The house was finally quiet, yet Karen, standing in the doorway, unseen, pressed her hand over her heart. She whispered through tears, "They're healing each other."
A fragile miracle was unfolding, one night at a time.
Sunlight spilled across the living room, and Ethan woke with Rex still nestled against him. But the day's peace was short-lived. Karen approached cautiously. "Ethan, you know this won't be easy," she said. "Rex has a past. He could lash out." Ethan tightened his grip on the dog's collar. "He won't. He just needs someone to believe in him." Karen sighed, torn between fear and her son's determination. At breakfast, Rex refused food, pacing the kitchen, ears flicking at every sound. He flinched when a spoon clattered, tail dropping between his legs. Ethan wheeled closer, offering food from his own hand. Slowly, Rex accepted, his teeth grazing Ethan's palm with delicate restraint. Karen gasped softly at the trust. Rehook. Could patience truly rewrite scars that ran this deep? Or was Ethan betting his fragile heart on an impossible dream? Later that day, Ethan insisted on taking Rex into the yard. Karen hesitated but agreed. The leash clipped onto the harness, and for the first time, Rex stood in the open air without bars. At first, he froze, scanning for threats. Then Ethan rolled his chair forward, calling softly, "Come on, Rex." The shepherd followed, his tail twitching uncertainly. Neighbors peeked over fences, whispering at the sight of the scarred dog walking beside a paralyzed boy. One muttered, "That dog looks dangerous." Karen's chest tightened, but Ethan raised his voice. "He's not dangerous. He's just misunderstood." Rex's ears perked at the boy's defense, pressing closer to his side. Together they circled the yard, and for the first time in years, Rex lifted his nose to the sky, inhaling freedom. The world outside the shelter had begun. The true battle was just starting.
Days passed, but one afternoon, a sudden noise shattered the fragile peace. A neighbor's trash can clattered to the ground. Rex lunged, snarling, teeth bared, every scar of his past ignited in one terrifying instant. Karen screamed, grabbing Ethan's chair to pull him back. But Ethan raised his voice over the chaos. "Rex, look at me." His tone was desperate yet steady. The shepherd froze, panting, trembling, eyes darting between fear and trust. Slowly, Ethan extended his hand, even as Karen cried, "No, Ethan!" But the boy's conviction never wavered. "I'm not leaving you, Rex." Against all odds, the dog turned away from the trash, pressing his scarred face back into Ethan's lap, shuddering with fear, but surrendering his trust. Karen's eyes flooded. The past would try to haunt them, but Ethan had just proven their bond was stronger than fear. Word spread quickly about the boy and the scarred dog. Neighbors murmured, some supportive, others doubtful. One evening, Mark from the shelter stopped by to check on them. "He's bonded to you," Mark admitted, watching Rex's loyalty, "but people will see his scars before his heart." At that moment, a child passing on a bike skidded and fell nearby. Rex stiffened, ears back. Karen's breath caught. Would he attack? Ethan wheeled forward, placing himself between Rex and the child. "It's okay," he whispered firmly. The dog whimpered, torn between instinct and Ethan's steady gaze. Then, astonishingly, Rex lowered himself, lying flat in submission. The child looked up, stunned, before smiling. "He's not scary." For the first time, the community glimpsed what Ethan already knew. Rehook. Could Rex prove to the world that even the most broken soul can still protect, not destroy?
Late one night, thunder cracked the sky, shaking windows. For Rex, storms meant chains rattling, beatings, and hunger. He panicked, crashing into furniture, eyes wild with terror. Karen rushed in, terrified for her son's safety. But Ethan wheeled directly into Rex's path, spreading his arms. "It's okay. You're safe."
The dog skidded to a halt, chest heaving, eyes frantic. Ethan's voice cracked, but he repeated, "You're safe with me, Rex. I won't let anything hurt you." Slowly, painfully, Rex pressed against him, shivering as the storm roared outside. Ethan wrapped both arms around his neck, anchoring them both. Karen watched, her fear melting into awe. Against the thunder of the past, the boy had become the storm's calm. This wasn't just healing anymore, it was survival, side by side. Their bond had faced the test of fear itself and endured. The next morning, sunlight streamed into the living room. Ethan sat on the floor, hand resting on Rex's head. The dog's tail wagged softly, not from uncertainty, but contentment. Karen placed a bowl of food down, and this time Rex approached without hesitation, eating steadily. The boy laughed through tears, his wheelchair beside him. "See, Mom? He just needed time." Karen knelt, stroking both her son's hair and the dog's scarred back. Maybe you both did." For the first time since the accident, Ethan felt a spark of victory, not against his broken body, but against despair. And Rex, once deemed unfixable, had proven he wasn't beyond love. Their healing wasn't complete, but the war had turned in their favor. Together, they had won the first battle. Rehook. But fate had one more trial waiting for them, a challenge neither of them could see coming.
As the weeks passed, Ethan and Rex grew inseparable, but the boy's mother noticed the whispers around town. Parents tugged their children away when they passed the scarred shepherd. "That dog's dangerous," one muttered. Ethan overheard, his heart tightening. He wheeled forward, Rex walking calmly by his side, proving their bond with every step. Yet the words cut deep. What if the world never accepted Rex? That night, Ethan stroked the dog's fur, whispering, "They don't see what I see. You're not dangerous, you're brave." Rex leaned in, exhaling a soft sigh that felt like trust itself. Hooked in Ethan's chest was a question he couldn't silence. Could love alone rewrite the narrative, or would society's fear always loom like a shadow over their fragile victory? It happened on a quiet Saturday afternoon. Ethan was in the yard, Rex resting loyally at his side, when the screech of tires split the silence. Across the street, a toddler chased a bouncing ball into the road. A car barreled forward, brakes screaming. Ethan's heart froze. "No," he shouted, but he was powerless to move quickly. In that split second, Rex bolted, his body a blur of muscle and scar. He lunged, knocking the child out of the road as the car skidded past, missing by inches. Dust settled. Silence hung heavy. The mother screamed, running forward to scoop her child into her arms. And there, lying in the dirt, Rex whined softly, his paw scraped from the fall. A gasp spread through the gathered neighbors. The dog they had feared had just risked his life for their child.
For a long moment, no one spoke. The mother clutched her child, tears streaking her face, then turned to Ethan. "Your dog saved him. He saved my baby." Around them, neighbors who once doubted now stared in stunned silence. Karen rushed from the porch, kneeling by Rex, checking his paw. Ethan wheeled forward, hands trembling as he stroked the shepherd's fur. "You're a hero," he whispered through tears. Murmurs rose in the crowd, disbelief shifting into awe. "That's not a monster, that's a guardian," someone said softly. Rex lifted his head, ears twitching at the voices. For the first time, the community's fear melted into respect. A dog once broken by cruelty had proven his worth in the most undeniable way, through courage. Rehook. But could the world hold on to this truth, or would scars always speak louder than love? The shelter manager arrived soon after, breathless from the news. He knelt beside Ethan. "I've never seen anything like this. Ranger, no, Rex, chose you for a reason." The boy's chest swelled with pride, his hand never leaving Rex's head. "We chose each other," he said firmly. Karen wiped her tears, realizing this wasn't just her son's companion. This was his lifeline.
Neighbors gathered closer, offering apologies for their doubts. The mother, whose child was saved, placed a trembling hand on Ethan's shoulder. "Thank you for trusting him when none of us did." Rex leaned into the boy's wheelchair, his tail brushing the dirt in slow, steady beats. In that moment, the scarred shepherd wasn't just Ethan's miracle, he was the town's reminder that brokenness could be remade into bravery. A whisper began spreading. This wasn't just a dog, it was a story of redemption.
Days turned into weeks, and Rex's wounds began to heal. Not just the scrape on his paw, but the ones buried deep inside. Ethan noticed how his tail wagged more freely, how his eyes softened when they played. At therapy sessions, Ethan insisted on bringing Rex, the dog padding gently beside his chair. The therapists were skeptical at first, until they saw the boy push harder, smile wider, fight longer with Rex watching. "He gives me strength," Ethan admitted, sweat dripping as he completed another exercise. The shepherd, once deemed too broken, now stood as a silent motivator, teaching a paralyzed teen that healing was possible. Karen watched from the corner, her heart overwhelmed. She whispered to herself, "They're saving each other, one step at a time." Rehook. But what would happen when life tested them again? Harder, fiercer than before. Months later, the town held its annual spring festival. Ethan begged to bring Rex, eager to show the community how far they'd come. Karen hesitated but agreed. At first, Rex walked calmly beside Ethan as his wheelchair moved, tail swaying gently as children pointed and whispered. But then, fireworks cracked overhead. Rex froze, ears back, trembling violently. Memories of chains and cruelty surged back, flooding him with fear. He lunged, pulling against the harness. The crowd gasped, panic rippling. "He's dangerous," someone shouted. Ethan's chest tightened, hands gripping the leash. This was the moment. Would Rex's scars undo all they had fought for, or would trust win over terror? Ethan leaned forward, shouting through the chaos, "Rex, look at me!" Their eyes locked. The dog panted wildly, but in his boy's gaze, he found an anchor. Slowly, painfully, Rex sank to the ground, choosing trust over fear.
The fireworks faded, leaving only silence and the boy's shaky breath. Rex pressed against Ethan's wheelchair, body trembling but surrendering fully to his trust. The crowd, which had panicked moments before, now stood stunned. A child whispered, "He's not scary, he's brave." Karen knelt, stroking Rex's fur, whispering through tears, "You did it, buddy. You fought the fear." Ethan's eyes brimmed as he held Rex's head. "We did it together," he whispered. The town mayor stepped forward, voice solemn. "What we witnessed tonight wasn't just a boy calming his dog. It was proof that love is stronger than scars." Applause rose, hesitant at first, then building into a wave. And there, in the middle of it all, Ethan realized Rex wasn't just his savior or his partner. He was his equal, his other half. Together, they had conquered the shadows. From that night on, Rex's reputation changed forever. The dog once whispered about as a danger was now praised as a protector. Children approached cautiously at first, then with giggles as Rex wagged his tail. Ethan's mother found herself smiling more often, no longer watching her son with fear, but with pride. Therapists invited Rex to join other patients' sessions, amazed at his calming effect. Volunteers at the shelter told his story to inspire new adopters. "No animal is beyond saving," one said, pointing to Rex and Ethan. The boy's wheelchair and the shepherd's scars became symbols of resilience, not weakness.
Together, they weren't just surviving, they were teaching a town to see differently. Rehook. But in the quiet moments, Ethan still whispered to Rex, was this healing forever, or would the shadows always linger, waiting to return?
One golden evening, Ethan sat in the yard, Rex's head in his lap, as the sunset painted the sky. "You know, buddy," Ethan whispered, "they all thought we couldn't make it, but here we are." Rex sighed, eyes half closed, pressing closer. Karen stood at the doorway, watching the pair who had once been so broken, now whole together. "You saved each other," she murmured to herself. Ethan rubbed Rex's ear gently. "You're not my pet, Rex. You're my family." In that moment, the boy realized their story wasn't about scars, wheelchairs, or fear. It was about rewriting destiny. Every chain that once bound Rex had been broken. Every doubt Ethan once carried had been silenced. Together, they had turned pain into power, despair into love. And their bond? It was no longer fragile. It was eternal. The video closes with Ethan wheeling down the open road, Rex trotting proudly beside him. The leash is loose, almost unnecessary. They move as one, two survivors who had once been written off by the world. A narrator's voice cuts through the quiet. Sometimes, the most broken souls carry the most unbreakable love. Ethan and Rex weren't meant to survive alone. They were meant to heal together. The camera lingers on Rex pressing his head gently against Ethan's shoulder as the boy smiles, sunlight gleaming across his scarred but shining friend. A final payoff. The shepherd who once trusted no one, now trusted completely. The boy who thought his future was gone had found it again, in the heartbeat of a dog. Fade to black with words, "Love saves, always."